Okay. For those of you listening at home, howdy. We are going through notes on 17B.
We're just having a long day.
Take out your notes, please. Gentlemen, the charades and such are discontinued.
Can we play charades?
Whatever.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Numbers. We're always what is this? No, it's two. I said two. We guys choose.
Re-announcements, gentlemen, ladies.
Gentlemen, ladies.
By the way, gentlemen in the back, I do not want to have to keep reminding you every 5 minutes. Please keep an thank you. Couple things. Yeah. Nice. Now, couple things. I moved your art stuff over to the black tables. If you're looking for the stuff that Ms. Moran brought in, it's over there. I just wanted to clear the desk. Second, do keep in mind we have a chapter test coming up next Friday. We're having a practice test on Wednesday. Figure from there. We're going to cover we're going to finish the notes on 17B, which is basically our arithmetic series sequences. And then 17C, I'm going to give you a taste of it today, which is on geometric. Now we've heard what they are, but we have not heard about geometric, how to get the 10th term or 15th term or whatever. We're going to cover a little bit of that today. But first, let's finish arithmetic sequences. For example, suppose I give you this. Go ahead and write that down. There are 3 basic types of sequences that we've been covering. Can anyone name them? Go.
Neither. Well, no, what am I saying?
Just in general. Don't ignore it.
Sequences?
Yeah, you got one of them.
Neither.
Neither?
Geometric.
Geometric?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic. Right. It's like arithmetic, only you put it on a different accent on a different syllable. Arithmetic, geometric, and neither. Okay? Which one is this? Letter.
Arithmetic.
It's arithmetic. Prove it.
It's adding 3 every time.
Adding 3 every time. What letter does an arithmetic, let me put that here. Arithmetic. What letter does an arithmetic sequence give you? Max? D. D equals what? In this case, Max, D equals what? D equals 3. What does D stand for? Yeah. The common difference. In other words, how far apart each term is from the next one. Mathematically, how did you find D equals 3? Sorry. Like, how do you know it's 3?
Well, I know that, well,
Like, what told you just visually, first of all?
because 3 can, well, you can times 3 is all of them, that's how I did it, but then I
Oh.
know that it's
By the way, that's lucky.
plus.
I could have done 17, 20, 23, 26, and it wouldn't have been divisible by 3, but 3 still works. But how do you actually get 3?
Because you just add.
Sort of.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
You do
Is it-
adjacent terms.
I'm sorry? What about it? Yeah, adjacent terms are the ones next to. What do you do with them?
21 minus 6.
Yes, you subtract them. In other words, the next term minus the previous term. If you ever get stuck in trying to find D, D is where you take the next term minus the previous term. The code for that, D is equal to A sub n minus, can anybody give me the code for the term before A sub n? Because there's A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, all the way up to AN. You'd have to use a formula, but can somebody tell me how to do that? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Got it. A sub n minus 1. That basically says the term that's 1 step before. How would you get a term that's 2 steps before? Yeah, why? A sub n minus 2. Last year. That kind of makes sense? So, everybody's clear on that? Now, if this is true, can somebody find a sub 100? Now remember, the very first term is a1. This is a2. This is a3. This is a4. And eventually you're going to get a sub n. N is the number of the term you're on. Like this is 1, this is n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, and so on. How do you find a sub 100? Can somebody step me through how to find that? Now the long way is just to add 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, add 3 until you get to the 100th term. That's tedious. Yeah.
Don't you have 99 jumps like all the way?
Yes, let me write it over here. 18, 21, 24, 27, blah, 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 blah. A1, A100. Just as a sample, by the way, if you ever need to do that, maybe walk it over. A1, A2, A3, A4. Question. Is everybody listening? To get to A1, A4, you could just plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. How many jumps is that? Go. Hold on, just a minute. 3. Do you see that there are 3 jumps? Just in this little part? And each jump is 3 spaces long. How many jumps are there from A1 to A100? I think it's like 99. Everybody see why there's not 100? If there are 100 items, there are 99 spaces in between. There are 99 jumps. How big is each jump, Tyler? 3. How do you find the total?
You multiply 100 by 3.
Yeah. You multiply what?
99.
You multiply 99 by 3. Let me know what 99 times 3 is. Go ahead. 297. Now, question. If you're jumping 99 jumps, and each one is 3, does everybody see why we're jumping forward 297? So how do you actually get the number? How do you get the final answer?
You multiply it by 100?
No.
I don't know.
Okay. Nice try. Joe, how do you get this actual number? Like to get here, I did plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 and got 27. How do you get this number? Right, go. Start with 18 and add 297. You're really adding 99 jumps. You're adding 297. So 18 plus 297, I mean, what that is? It's 313. Or 315, is that?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, sorry.
Why do you add 18?
Oh, because 18 was where you started from. Like if you're starting from 10, it would be 10 plus 297. It's whatever the starting number is plus the extra jumps. You're not starting from 0. You're starting from 18. So I can do plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, 99 times. I just did that quickly. So start from 18 and then add 99 jumps worth of 3. So start from 18 and add 297 to it to get your final answer. Okay, right there.
Can you explain why and how you got 315?
Okay, 297 plus 18, 350.
Yeah, I know, but like.
Well, you see where the 18 came from? That's where you're starting from.
Yeah. No, just
Okay. How many jumps I could do without random shatter? Please be considerate. When you start with 18, how many jumps does it take to get up to here? Okay, 99. You see why it's not 100?
If it's
A100,
Yeah.
starting from A1, let's say 5 fingers. A1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many jumps between them? 4, not 5. See? You're counting the spaces in between them, not the numbers themselves. Does that make sense at all? So that's why it's not 100
Why do
jumps.
you need to know that?
It's 99 jumps. I'm sorry?
Why do you need to know that?
Because each jump is 3 spaces long, right? So with 1 jump, it would go up to 21. 2 jumps, it would go up to 24. 99 jumps, it would go up to what? I don't know. That's why I did this. 99 times 3, I go up by this much. 2 jumps, I went up by 6. Does that kind of make sense? 18 plus 6 is 24. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. If I went 3 jumps, I'd really be adding 9. So 18 plus 9 is 24. If I go up 99 jumps, please be considerate. If I'm not talking directly to you, that doesn't mean you can just ignore what's going on in front of the room. It also doesn't mean you can make noise. It's getting a little loose and inconsiderate this time of year. Trying to rein it back in. And I'm not testing myself on this, I'm testing you. If you go up 99 steps, you're basically going up 99 times. That's 297. So if I have 3 jumps, I'm adding 9. 99 jumps, I'm adding 297. Adding it to what? Whatever I started with. That's it. I didn't hear you say.
Why did you need to add?
Why did I need to add?
To cause these.
Well, you see the 27 here? If I go 3 jumps, what am I adding? I didn't hear what you said.
3 plus 3 plus 3.
Which is 9. Does it make sense that with 3 jumps, I'm adding 9? Adding 9 to what? Why? Because that's where you're starting. That's the starting number. If you want to increase from 18, you're increasing by 9 from 18. Like that? Oh, does that mean you now understand, or does that mean you're giving up?
I still don't.
Okay, talk to me later. Yeah.
For the 9 times 3, is that where you get the 5 from the 3 jumps?
Like from here?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I go 3 jumps, and each jump is plus 3, it's really plus 9. But it's 9 plus 18, because 18 is where I started. That'd be 27. Yeah. So if I'm doing 99 jumps, start with 18 and add 297 more. You're going to get 315. Okay. Is there a general formula for this? Yes. To get a sub n for an arithmetic, write this down, please. You may have it already, but write it down again. The more you write it down, the more it sticks in your brain. You won't be able to use notes on the thing. A sub n, which is the nth term. Where do you start counting from? Like in any sequence. Yeah, please. The first term. What nickname do we call the first term? Yeah. A1. You start with A1, which is the first term, plus the total number of jump and spaces. How do you do that?
Can you repeat that again?
Like, how big is each jump? Like in this case, how much is each jump? 3. What letter is that? If it's arithmetic.
Oh,
D. D is the size of a jump. Size of one jump. So how many jumps are we actually going to take? Like in this case, how many did we do? 99. How do you get 99? How do you know it was 99 and no?
100 minus 1.
Exactly. It's the 100. By the way, 100 is the number n.
So it's n minus 1.
Got it. N minus 1. N is the number of terms. And then it's minus 1. Why minus 1? Because there's always one less space between the number of elements you have. If you have like 6 elements, you have 5 spaces in between. 10 elements, you have 9 spaces in between, and so forth. If you have 100 things, you have 99 jumps in between. So it's always in minus 1. This should always work. Let's try a big beefy example. Let's try 4, 9, 14, 19, 24, dot, dot, dot. First and foremost, can somebody tell me what kind of sequence this is? Is it geometric, arithmetic, or neither? Olivia. Arithmetic is if you add the same thing over and over and over. Geometric is if you multiply the same thing over and over, and then neither is neither.
Would it be arithmetic too, with the common difference being 5?
Correct. It's arithmetic, I'm going to abbreviate here, and the common difference, which we use for D, is 5, exactly. If you were going down by 5, you'd use D equals negative 5. Do you think? So we know it's arithmetic, and we know D is 5. Can anybody tell me the value of A1? Yeah, very good.
Wait, A1's just number, right?
Correct. It's the number 4. That's your starting term. Okay. Can anybody, if I want to say, find A sub 1,000. Now that's a huge amount. I would not do this by hand. Cece, what do you think? By the way, can anybody tell me what N is?
Yeah, that's what I said. Didn't it be 1,000?
N is 1,000. Does it make sense that going from the first term to the 1,000th term, you have 1,000 terms? Yes.
You would make a formula,
Do it.
which would be 4,
So A sub, yeah. First of all, here's the generic formula.
would just be A plus B multiplied by n minus 1,
Yeah. What's A1 again?
4
4.
plus 5,
Parentheses. And what do you use for N?
1,000
Yes, 1,000.
minus 1.
That's your answer. It's just you have to simplify it. There are like 4 or 5 different ways you can simplify this. I know a few. By the way, I will, this is rare, I will be allowing you to use a calculator on this test. Partially because when we get to geometric, you'll have to use a calculator. So the arithmetic ones you can do without, but I will not mind if you use a calculator to simplify this. There is a way to do it without. Yeah, Legend.
Do we need to know the formulas of arithmetic?
Oh my goodness, yes.
on
That's the whole point of the chapter. This, because if I ask you to find the 24,000th term, you do not want to do this by hand. And if I ask, well, I'll tell you more about that later. But, yeah, question or answer. Okay, Susie. Question or answer?
Can I stop?
Go for it.
Okay, so 1,000 minus 1 is, sorry, 4,995.
4,995.
Oh, that's not true.
And then plus,
Yeah, I guess.
that's correct. So what's the final answer?
A sub 1,000 equals,
And that's, wait a minute, whoa, back up.
do you want me to solve that right now?
This was,
900.
first of all, back up.
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
was gonna say,
What's 5 times 999?
4,995.
Okay, start with there. 49.95 plus what?
4.
Do it.
4,999.
Got it. That's your answer. Okay? Questions? Yeah.
Would you put it like in the on the line that says find A 1,000?
You don't, oh, yeah. If I give you a test question and I say A1 is equal to blah, 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 yeah, fill that in. What it will probably be, I probably won't give you a blank. You just write the answer down and circle it so I know where it is. Yeah.
If I was writing a formula like that and just swap n in for 1,000, could I write it 5? Like, could I simplify it in formula?
I think I know what you do. Were you planning to do this?
Yeah.
5,000 minus 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I do that a lot.
But like,
It's a lot easier to do 5 times 1,000.
when I write the formula, could I just write 5n?
Interesting question. Here's what he's asking. Could you write this formula like this? A1 plus distribute. Could you do that? Believe it or not, I've never been asked that question before. I think all the mathematicians of the world would look funny at you. I will accept it. Do it at your own risk. If you distribute wrongly, like if you forget a minus sign or something, I'll clobber the problem. So beware. Okay. But I will not mark it down if you get it right. This is the preferred method. It's the size of one jump times the number of, and this thing basically here, the whole parentheses is the number of jumps in between. Correct, yeah. Yeah, right on. Yeah. Depends on what you mean. If you're looking for the formula for a sub n, the thing in the box is what you should write down. S sub n is different. We're going to cover that a little bit later. That's later. That's a different topic. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are formula-minded, there are some people who just will not rest until they see a formula that they can latch onto. I'll ask you a quick question.
I'm trying to be a little off topic.
Well, that won't be a question for just a second. I need to get a chart going here. A sub n, S sub n, S. Make a chart in your notes. It will be 6 sections. One for arithmetic, one for geometry. Now, I haven't even told you what S stands for. That's coming up probably Monday. But I'll tell you what we have so far. A sub n is a code for the nth term. Oops. A sub n is code for the nth term. S sub n is code for the nth sum. Like if you have 100 terms, you add up the first 100 terms to get the sum. That's very different than just getting the 100th term. Getting the 100th term is usually a lot easier. The formula for A sub n is this. For arithmetic, A sub n is equal to A1 plus D parentheses n minus 1. That's the one we just covered. That's how to find any term in an arithmetic sequence. As long as you know what the first term is, as long as you know how many terms there are, and how big the jump is, the D, you should be able to get any term on it. Okay. The nth sum, which again we're going to cover a little later, but let me give you the formula. S sub n is equal to n parentheses n plus 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops. It is n over 2 parentheses a1 plus an. Don't get yourself too confused on this because I haven't covered the lesson on this yet. I'm just giving the formula ahead of time. So if you're asking me where it came from, don't bother. I'm going to answer that in about 15 minutes and not a minute before. Mary Kay, question? Are you asking a question about this? Don't yet. That's what I just got done saying. I haven't covered it yet. I mentioned it yesterday just to give you a teaser and to tell you about Carl Gauss. S There is no formula for S, for arithmetic. I haven't even told you what S is yet. That's coming up. Geometric, I will give you the formulas, but be prepared for it to be, actually, should I even give this to you yet?
No.
I think I'm probably just gonna wait till tomorrow.
Thank you.
So you can go back and fill this in tomorrow. You don't have to rewrite the formula, the chart. Okay. Now, any questions on this part of the board? Okay, Elijah.
Why does the book put it as PM?
I have the foggiest idea. It's not illegal, but it's bad taste. It's supposed to be A, but there's nothing, I think I know why. Cheaper term. It's actually not a bad idea, but A is the more traditional one. I suppose if somebody really were passionately attached to T, you could do it. So, yeah, here we go. Now, let me try a couple examples, just so we know how these run. Suppose you have this formula, 100, comma, whoops, sorry, 93, 86, 79, 72, dot, dot, dot. Question or answer?
It's
Okay.
arithmetic.
Arithmetic, just a second, let me write that down. You're right, it is arithmetic. And when I say prove it, how do you prove that something's arithmetic? Give me the value of D.
So 93 minus 100 is -7.
Correct. In order to get D, you take the next term minus the first term. By the way, that should work with any pair. You could do 93 minus 100, or 86 minus 93, or 79 minus 86. They all have it in common. That's why I call it common difference. Let's try it. What is 93 minus 100?
-7.
-7.
So the common difference is -7.
Correct.
Plus
So if I say, is it arithmetic, geometric, or neither, and you say it's arithmetic, and then I follow up with, okay, prove it. You say, okay, D is equal to -7. That proves it. If you can give me the value of D, I will believe you that it's arithmetic. Okay.
So like on the test, would you say, like, is this arithmetic or geometric? And then would you say like why?
And I would say, explain your answer for credit.
Okay.
Correct. And you don't have to write a big page. All you have to write is this. In other words, you can just do this in your head if you want, and feel free to do it on paper. But this will be showing your work. If it's a geometric, you'll have to give me the value of R. And then that's all you have to write. So teeny weeny little bit to write for X, 1, and D.
What would you say if it was needed?
For neither, then you don't even have to explain. Okay. Good right so far? Now, can somebody find me the formula for A sub n? Your final answer should have the letter n in it somewhere. It should be a formula, not a number. It should look like an algebraic equation with the letter n in it somewhere. Good. What is A sub 1 in this case? 100, excellent. Plus, and you can use this, A1 plus, good, -7, parentheses, and then there's not much you can do with this. N, because I don't know what n is, minus, you are done. That's the general formula for finding the nth term in this sequence. You see what I did? I had an A1, so I could just plug it in. I had a D, so I could just plug it in. I do not have an n, because they didn't tell me what term I'm looking for. So just leave n alone. Just leave it in the formula. Question?
Could you distribute the -7 and then add like terms?
Yes, you could, if you want. It's not necessary, but if you wanted to, you could write it like this. You could 100 plus, go ahead and do that.
-7 and
Uh-huh.
plus 7.
Plus 7. So what that really is A sub n is equal to
100.
-7n plus
107.
107. Yeah. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. Some people find that easier to compute. I don't know if it's easier or not for my brain, but your mileage may vary, as they say. Yeah.
So we're going to have to do that for every answer?
No, you can just leave it like this. That's actually what I do. This, if I'm asking for the a sub n, this is totally fine. This is an optional step if you feel more comfortable looking like, because this kind of looks like slope-intercept form, and a lot of people like that. But if you want to leave it like this, I'm totally okay with it.
So if you're asking for a sub n, not just for any
Right,
number, right?
just the formula for a sub n. Write that and you're done.
Okay.
That's all you have to do. Now, can you use it? I'm about to ask for a sub 200. And by the way, you can use either one. They're both pretty much the same formula, just in slightly different form. Go. Go ahead and just do the numbers first. Huh? Huh? Good. Yeah, this is 199 times -7. And again, in this particular time, because speed may be of the essence on the test, feel free to just punch it into a calculator. What is -7 times 199?
Negative 1393.
-13 what? 1393, okay. -1393, and then add 100 to it. Anybody? Yeah. -1293 is correct. The 200th term is -1293. If you carry this string out to 200 terms, that's the 200th term. Does that make sense? If you distribute, distributing might make it easier if you do the mental math. This would be -1400 plus 7, which is actually not too bad. Yeah, question. Okay. Any questions on that? So far, do you think you could get a formula for a sub n, just a general one, and do you think you could use it to get a specific term? Okay. Now I'm about to throw a little bit of a curveball at you. It's a little like a homework problem you had. I'm going to tell you ahead of time that something's arithmetic. So there's an arithmetic sequence that I have in my mind. I will tell you two things. A1 is 30. A5 is, let me see, hang on a second, 66. Find n, find a sub n, and find a sub 100. In that order. Can anyone tell what n is supposed to stand for?
The n term?
Yeah, that's how many terms. Anybody tell me how many terms we do have in this case? 5.
Oh.
Does that make sense? So, what's the formula for a sub n? I'm not trying to find a5. I already have that. Yeah.
Do you understand the numbers?
Yeah, by the way, if you want to rewrite just the general formula, you're welcome to. I do that on my answer key. Now go ahead and fill it in.
So
30.
plus
Oh, what do we not have yet?
D.
D. Joe, take over. I need to find D. How?
Guess and check.
No, never. No. You're still on with this one. If I gave you two terms right next to each other, it'd be pretty easy. You just subtract. I didn't. I gave you a term that's in the future. So Joe, question. How many jumps is this? 4. And then how much did it actually go up?
36.
If 4 jumps are 36, what's 1 jump? 9. Let me write this another way. 4 jumps is kind of like 4D equals 36. Yeah. Divide both sides. D equals 9. Congratulations, you got something you need. Now plug it in. 9 in parentheses, n minus 1. Here is your general formula. That's the answer for a sub n. Make sense? Now, use it. Go.
30 plus 900
plus 9 times 100 minus 1. So you can either distribute or do 99. I don't know which one. Good. Preference? It just calculates it.
3 plus 891,
Yep.
which is 921.
900 what?
21.
21. You're correct. That's a typical question I'll ask on the test. Okay? And I'll probably ask in that order. I'll say find n, find a sub n, then find the 100th term. By the end of the test, I may skip some steps. I'll say, here's your 2 pieces of information. Find a 100. And that's all I'm going to tell you. That means you have to go back in time and find the pieces. Find d, find a sub 1. Actually, speaking of which, this is probably the most challenging problem I would give you on the test in this particular topic. Quick example. I'm going to assume ahead of time that something is arithmetic sequence. I'm going to give you 2 variables, or 2 terms. A sub 4 and a sub 7. A sub 4 is 62. A sub 7, let me see, 56. And all I'm going to ask you is find a 100. Where do you even begin? Go. Yeah, no, how many jumps is this? 3 jumps. Everybody see that? From A4 to A7? And so in other words, that's 3D. How much did that actually jump? Go. Negative what?
6.
Negative 6. If 3 jumps got you to negative 6, or brought you backwards 6, what's 1 jump? You got it. 3D is negative 6, so D is negative 2 divided by 3 on both sides. You found a piece of information you desperately need. There is something I almost always give you in these problems that I did not give you this time. It's something required in the formula that we do not yet have. Max? A1. Can somebody tell me how to find A1? Go.
You go back 3.
Yeah, start from 4 and go back 3 spaces. Now be careful. If you're going back 3 spaces and each space is negative, what you're really doing? Adding. What do you get?
68.
How'd you get that?
Add 6.
Yeah, add 6. Because if jumping forward 3 spaces decreases 6, jumping backwards 3 spaces increases 6. So A1 is equal to, I'm sorry, what was that again? 68. You have just found A1. It looks like you have everything you need for the formula now. So, Athen, take over. I've got D. I've got A1. I want to get A100. Oops.
68
Yep.
plus 2, negative 2.
Negative 2, parentheses.
Plus 100 minus
Exactly. Calculate that for me. 68 plus what?
1 plus negative 201.
The minus 1 is inside the parentheses.
Oh,
You could distribute if you want. It's negative 200. Just make sure minus and minus is plus.
198.
Negative
Negative 1.
198. Good. Somebody give me the final answer? What's negative 198 plus 68?
100.
What is it? It's negative something. Go ahead. Yep. Negative 130 is your answer. Congratulations. If you can do that, you can pretty much do any problem as far as predicting terms. Okay. Yeah.
How did you get plus 6?
How to get plus 6? Oh. You notice if I went forward in time 3 jumps, the number decreased by 6? What if I go back in time 3 jumps? It's going to do the opposite. It's going to increase by 6.
Can you give me another example of that?
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Okay, that was I don't want to spoil the chart just yet. Do I have the chart in the notes?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I'll just get some space here then. Let me try another one. I think you're ready for another curveball. Arithmetic. Sequence. And I'm giving you the following. A10 is equal to 30. A20 is equal to 35. Find A100.
Hate fractions.
Elijah, starts off.
First, can I find what's in between the jumps?
Definitely.
It's 1 half.
So how many jumps is that?
It's
10 jumps. So the code for that is 10D. 10 times D. And then how far did you actually increase?
5.
5. Can somebody find me the value of D? Go. 10D equals,
5.
go for it.
You divide by 10 on both sides.
What do you get?
1 half.
Good. A lot of people put 2 by mistake. D is 1 half. Say again?
Why is D 10?
Oh,
I thought there was 9 jumps.
10 times. From 10 to 20, there are 10 jumps. From 1 to 10, for example, if like from 11 to 20, there'd be 9 jumps. The quick way to do that, we covered this yesterday. But if you have the numbers 1 to 100, how many numbers are, well, first of all, how many numbers are there from 1 to 100? 100. How many jumps in between? 99. It's always 1 less, the number of things. It's convenient when you start from 1. But if you're going from 10 to 20, the number of jumps, notice it's basically starting at 0. That'll change it a little bit. Let me list them off. A lot of people get this wrong, including me, in first year algebra. I do remember this. I have not memorized every single error I've ever made, just the really embarrassing ones. How many numbers are there from 10 to 20?
No.
11.
Well, that just stinks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If you're counting 10, there's an extra number. So if there are 11 numbers, how many spaces in between? 10. Does that make sense?
Why did it 20 minus 10?
So, how do you get the number of jumps? It's the number of terms minus 1. Now the number of terms, you might have to do something fancy to or count it or something like that to find it. The number of terms from 10 to 20 is 11. So there are 10 jumps. So basically it's 20 minus 10. Yeah, this, if it, yeah, to be continued. Did everybody say that D is equal to 1 half? Everybody okay with that? Can somebody give me the general formula for A sub n? Just rattle off the formula. No, yeah, go.
Do we have to find A sub 1?
Is this a question or an answer?
I don't know.
Hold on. Let's do this first. A sub n. Give me the formula. It's in your notes. Go. A sub 1 plus D, parentheses.
Oh, just yeah.
Yes. Memorize that. A sub n is A1 plus D parentheses n minus 1. Now, use it. We might or might not have the pieces we need, but do we have anything? Yeah, Susie.
D.
We have D. What is that?
1 half.
1 half. Parentheses. Do we have n?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
100.
100, well, let me for that. What do we not have yet? We do not have a sub 1 yet.
Can I find it?
Go ahead.
So, because you need to go back 10 jumps, and when you went forward 10 jumps, you increased by 5, so we just go back by 5?
How many jumps are you going back?
9.
Yeah, why 9?
Because you're going back.
You're going back to 1. If you went back 10 jumps, you'd go to A0, which doesn't make sense. I suppose you can talk about A0 if you really want. In other words, from 10 to 1 is 9 jumps. So, if I'm going forward 10 jumps, like each jump is a half.
Mm-hmm.
What if you go back 9 jumps?
9 times 1.
What is that? What is that?
Um,
By the way, if you really love decimals, I'll let it go.
9 over 2.
What's that?
9.
9 over 2, or 4.5 if you like decimals. So you're subtracting 4.5. Do it. This time I will actually let you do a decimal for a change. I don't really mind decimals if they're nice. It's like when people do 1 over 7 and do a decimal, ew. It's like it's a 6-digit repeating decimal, forget it. But subtract 4.5.
25.
Yeah, 25.5. Use that. And you can do 0.5 if you want. Can we do it? Yeah. It's totally up to you how you do it. Did it say again, sorry?
50 minus 0.5.
Yeah, distribute. 50 minus 0.5, what is that?
49.5.
Yeah, 49.5 plus 25.5
Yep.
is what?
75.
I'm sorry?
75.
You get it. 100 turned to 75. Okay, take out your homework guide sheet. I need to make a few alterations.
Let's just do 5 and 10.
This is 17B.
Yeah.
Section 2. Hang on, hold on. I am deleting 1 and 2. And I think I might even pull open a few other ones.
10. Let's just do 10.
5.
You know.
Holy mackerel.
Oh.
Yes, they're doing the,
Scratch off number 5.
they're doing S sub N.
Wow. Yeah, they're doing T sub n. It means the exact same thing. Or S sub n? Oh yeah, let me look. Hang on a second. You can do number 6 as good.
Wait, no, what about 6, the last one, like the last 2?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Holy mackerel. Grab a pen, and here's what you're going to do. This is going to take so much surgery, it's probably better just to write it down. 6 ABCD. Count on. 7 ABCD. 8, all of 8. All of 9. Skip 10. That's a sum.
Oh my gosh,
I'm going to split that off later.
wow, I feel so bad for you.
Last night, I knew we wasn't gonna have to.
Right, so everybody got that? 6 ABCD, 7 ABCD, 8 and 9.
Stop.
That should be in accordance with the notes I gave. And we are out of here. Please stand. Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son,